These things don't work.
Are you an indie podcast or content creator looking to reach a wider audience? Look no further. Introducing Podcasting, the ultimate podcast network designed exclusively for indie creators like you. At Podcasting, we believe in the power of unique voices and fresh perspectives. We're here to amplify your passion and creativity, connecting you with the growing community of engaged listeners who crave original content. Podcasting is more than just a platform. It's a support system built for indie podcasters, offering a range of resources to help you succeed. From tailored promotional campaigns to professional production assistance, we're here to help you shine. Our intuitive platform makes it easy for you to be seen and heard. We do all the heavy lifting for you. You just show up and create. Plus, with our advanced analytics, you'll gain valuable insights into your audience's preferences, allowing you to refine your content and grow your fan base. Ignite your passion, expand your reach, and thrive with podcasting. Visit our website at www.podcastinglife.com to get started. Podcasting, the home for indie podcast and content creators.
There we go. Welcome to Put Your Family First podcast. If you can turn me up in the mic, oh, there we go. We're in the mic. Good afternoon and welcome to Put Your Family First podcast. We're live in the building. We have a guest all the way from New York. And glad to be in the building. Dr. Heather, how are you?
I'm well. I
got you turned out on that law.
With retrograde today.
I got you turned out on that law, though. Got her turned out. How you doing, Dave?
I'm doing good. Alrighty then.
Right. That's what's up. Good. So I'm glad to be in the building. And, just to, before we bring on the guests, remember tomorrow night we are hosting the ebook social. It's a free event. You can tag in. And we're having our ebook signing and sharing of the ebook. For those of you, Dave, I got your book over at the office. So. And, I forgot. I know you got to come back. Mm-hmm. But the
I know
ebook,
where you live.
Yes, you sure do. Right. So the ebook for everything that is taking place tomorrow night for the Emmy Way, and the Emmy Way, the system. This is just the beginning. This will be a national process. It is what we engineered it for, to help your homes with raising children, to prevent suicidal ideation. We're giving you this tool that will help you in your schools and your environments. We know that this works, and we're assisting you. And again, we're looking forward to those of you who will chime in tomorrow. You can go on my page at calvintman.com Calvin T. Man, and scroll down. You'll see the link right there to register for the Emmy Way. In the future, it would have its own destination website. We're just building this model to solve fights in the hallway, disrespecting the teacher, disrespecting the home, self accountability. This is going to bring a lot to the environment, to the home, and it's something that is long overdue. It's just, you've been doing it so long and having so much success for it, we decided to put it in a book so families can have the same with their children and the schools as well. So we're excited about that. It's tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Again, tap in on my page. With that being said, I think that's all the news to update for our show. And Dr. Heather, take it away.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you out there with our listeners and our viewers. Today is really exciting for me. It's a chance to build with this amazing sister. And the more you learn about her today, the more you are connected to this vision that we all have been given around our youth and our young people. And so I just want to just kind of frame our conversation for today. Our guest is Claudette C. Faison. She is the CEO and founder of Unlocking Futures. And today we're kind of building around the topic of exploring the need for mentoring at home, meaning in our community, and abroad, because her reach is a global reach. And so we get to have the opportunity to hear about what her work looks like, not just in locally where she is in New York, around the country, but also around the world. And so this is a unique opportunity to have somebody that has a perspective in a way that tells us what and shows us what our young people need. And so my overview is our youth need continuous support. Champions are often found with their inner resilience, compassion, and strength, and stand up for them. The importance of visionaries who see the support youth need at home and abroad is a collective responsibility. Our guest, Claudette C. Faison, is one such champion, and I thank you for your patience today. We talk about resilience, and I laugh in the face of the fact that we are in the middle of this retrograde, and how just today it has been especially high for me, because my clock that I normally look at that helps me manage my day was 20 minutes behind today. So it's been really interesting how, that effect, now that never happens, but it happened today. So that's pretty interesting. And
Man, she. Why you talking?
okay, and so I want to start off with just kind of asking a question of and introducing this amazing woman who is with us today. Sister, are you there? Sister Claudette, are you there?
She's on.
I'm here. I'm here.
Uh,
Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you. We
I'm
hear you.
here.
All right, thank you. I can see you now too.
Okay.
All right, so can you just tell us a little bit about yourself? Tell us what motivated. Can you start with just telling us what motivated Unlocking Futures?
Well, that's a long story. I don't want to take my entire time telling that, but I'm going to try to do this as quickly as possible. I'm from the Virgin Islands, and that's where I was born. And when we came to New York, the whole family came together. My parents came first, traumatized me, left me St. Thomas with my people, my grandparents, but no mom and dad. But so I was traumatized before I got here. And what I noticed about my mom when we lived in the Bronx, there was a mother and a daughter who lived downstairs. And the mother, I believe, was an alcoholic. And the daughter was often dirty, hair uncombed. And I remember uh, she wore the same size clothes as my older sister. And I remember my mother bringing her to the house, washing her hair. At that time, it was with the straightening comb and the curling iron and dressing her. Well, fast forwarded, or my mom died when I was 11, and by 13, I assumed my mother's position. I would go around the neighborhood and find, I would bring them home, sponge rollers in their hair. Uh, and I'm going to say that's how I got started. And then I would take them to church on Sunday. Um, and, but what really had me start my not for profit uh, 41 years ago, it's really 41 years. Last
Wow.
year, I called myself Mrs. Moses. After Moses wandered around in the wilderness for 40 years, I've been wandering the globe for 40 years. But why I started Unlocking Futures is because I was very dissatisfied with the programs, the human services program. I started working in group homes, crash pads, and I was very, very unsatisfied, because what I saw was that the system was creating systemic poverty, even though they were giving people services and resources, that they were putting people to sleep. They were, they could get from housing to food to so many services. And I was really upset, not because I thought something was wrong with the services, but what I noticed was they weren't teaching people how to fish. They were just giving them a lot of fish. And the more fish people had, the more entitled to services. And the more they were entitled to services, the who they were, the possibility who they were was, they were numb. So they were giving people services to stay home and not break the cycle, not break generational poverty, not break it's systemic. That was part of the system. The more you give them fish, the more they just do nothing. And so I started this program in really 1985 is when I started, because I learned of a curriculum, and I participated in a course called the S training back in the 70s. And when I took that training, I said, "Oh, I'm a person that believe I'm led. I believe that this is what I was born to do, and so Spirit leads me where I need to be." And so when I developed this curriculum, was a curriculum where, first and foremost, we shifted people's locus of control. And what that actually mean is they became awake to who they were created to be, not what they did in life, but and this is, so we do transformational spiritual education, and it's not religion, although we use sometimes pieces of different religious teachings. And so one of the main things we had before we could even deal with systemic anything, generational poverty, generational trauma, before we could deal with anything, we had to recreate these clients, to have them know that they were born, they were the image and likeness of God, and then life happened, and that they had the ability. So there's a whole big process. It's not just telling people that. We create curriculum that actually created paradigm shifts. And once people are awake to what's possible for themselves, that's the beginning of transformation. I'm going to
Yes.
stop there.
Oh, that's perfect. That's perfect. That is exactly how those of us in the studio feel. That is exactly why we are here, much of the same way. And just to have you to
Mhm.
share that, and that to be part of the origin story is super important. And I think it's gonna really help to frame how we take this conversation today and how we continue to grow and build on it. So I thank you for sharing that, and sharing your journey and how it has impacted. And you said this has been 40 years for you. Can you tell us tell us how many lives do you believe? And I know it's hard to count that, but when you talk about and think about the impact that you have, what would you say that looks like, both in New York,
I would,
around the country, and globally because of your footprint?
yeah, we have, but me personally, I've worked on every continent with the exception of Antarctica. I don't think there's any at-risk people there in Antarctica. So I think if I were to total direct contact with people, it's close to 13 to 15,000 people. Um,
Easy. Hmm.
but but and the good news is I've been around long enough that I don't talk about my mission. I I have the evidence that my mission works. I have the evidence that my teen moms, the babies of my teen moms, are now college graduates. I have the
Yes.
evidence that the men, the fathers that we worked with in prison came out of prison and are fathering their children. I have the
Yes.
evidence that working with the gypsies in Copenhagen, the thing about being around the world, it doesn't matter. We may change the language. I remember when I was working in India and I really made a stupid question, statement. There's a process we do, and we go, well, what's aluminum can made out of? And people a long time, and they say tin. They say, oh, but the answer is aluminum. Or what is a paper towel made? The answer is in the question. And the
Yes.
question that I normally ask is, who's buried in Grant's tomb? But I said, who's buried in Gandhi's tomb? And as you know, people in India are cremated. So,
Oh no, I did not
little
know.
things like that, you have to be, yeah, little things like that I have to be um, cognitive of. I remember when we went to do an assessment trip in Colombia, South America, and to work with the kids that were being kidnapped and put in the jungle to do drug sales. And I decided I would work with that community. Why? Because in their towns, there were no jobs and there weren't any educational programs. And I thought it would be really in poor taste for me to have somebody wake up and not have resources. That was that's just not right. So I'd rather you stay asleep because any the other thing that I see even in our communities right here in Michigan, in Detroit, in Harlem, that the kids that wake up sometimes, the, and that's why I want to talk about families because the individuals that wake up often don't come back to the community.
Yes, that's really that's an important
And
conversation to have too.
why I really wanted to be on this show is because I think family is more important than the individual.
Yes.
Because after doing this work, the organization is since 85, but I've been in the field professionally since 76. So I've seen a lot of things. I know I don't look like I'm 72, but I am 72. And what I saw was what you learn quickly is that the apples doesn't fall far from the trees. And I remember when I started working with the kids that were runaway and homeless youth, there's a saying we say is that the runaway is the healthy child. The runaway is saying something is wrong in this environment. And so I did the research about Detroit, and it's similar to the research in New York. Right now, there are 25. thousand not-for-profit programs in Detroit. The majority of them do not work with families. They may work with parents or adults or children, but there's only 225 organizations that provide high quality holistic support for the entire family in Detroit. But that's everywhere. I think by working with individuals, we miss what's possible. That they say families that, let's say, pray together, stay together. But I find that when there's trauma in any individual in the family, let's say someone goes to jail, someone gets beat up, it affects the entire family. The social the social emotional frame of the family is dismantled. And that without working with the family, you can't build you can't build something that will eliminate the generational trauma. Yeah, so if you work with me as an individual, yes, perhaps I will get better. But what about my siblings? What about my mom? What about my dad? I watched the show last night on Netflix. It took me 2 weeks to complete 4 episodes because I didn't want to look at it. But Spirit just kept making me watch it. And I said, oh, that was the setup for today. And it's called Adolescence. And I think it's in England or one of those places, Scotland, Ireland, something with that kind of accent. And the little boy is 13 and he killed the little girl. But
Wow.
he kept denying that he did that. But what I was present to, what was happening to the family when he finally said I did do it. You know, he had a sister. She no longer had her own identity. Let's say the kid's name was Mark. Now she was Mark's sister. Mark the murderer's sister. There was a mother and a father in the household. So everybody's affected. Everybody is affected. And when we can deal with everybody's affected, then we can intervene generational trauma.
I gotta. So this is Calvin.
Hi,
Claudette,
Calvin.
how are you? So
If you want to know the truth, I'm a little tired. I just came back from Dubai, and I'm still on. I still wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning.
okay. Well, I'm glad you're back and right and safe. What you just said is significant, and to add to it, I was having this conversation recently that what we fail to realize is the impact of the same thing, the impact of murder, or even a car accident, or drunk driving. When one person does something that is in your family, they, in their minds, have already bought into that they thought that they were alone. You see, the boy processed this situation, and it happens, and it's happening every day, and we've seen it consistently, that when you isolate and separate, you can create more individualism. That's what we've been doing. So when we talk, just in our work and looking at it, which we believe is very valuable, family restoration work, right? When you have a 98% parental involvement and everybody is getting something. Well, again, when we talk about just that very thing you were talking about, that the individual causes so much to anybody else, and it's no different from suicide. When we kicked off our Smash Suicide campaign, it was boys 5 to 11 were number one. Our number one. What we discovered in that process is some schools don't want you to even come talk about it. Right? Why is this happening? So, why is a 5-year-old hanging himself? What happened? As you said, the runaway is telling you something is going on. So how is it that this 5-year-old, right? So when we look at the structure of family, for the life of me, because like you, we got a different set of 40 years, but the life of me of 40 years, I never understood why we never worked on the order of family. Those who had family, they had order. It was the dad, the mom, right? Those who, the neighbors, the community, what we grew up in, marriages, the whole night. They had that model. In some type of weird kind of way, we wanted the individualism. And so now, I believe, this is just me, I haven't heard many other people agree, but I believe that the nightly news and the media that shows these boys the attention for murder creates more murder. And when you don't have a functioning in-house healthy father that has stabilized the environment, that has made sure that the boy understands who he is and what he is, that somehow we create these things. And so it's difficult, if you will, from my perspective, for the boy to become a man, husband, and father to protect the girl and the mother and the household, right? When we were coming up, the boys sit out on the porch, right? When I was coming up, my brother had the rifle. We were all taught, but my oldest brother, he had unequivocal access, right? Order, the big brother, right? So I just wanted to add that because I think a lot of people don't understand what you said. I'm with you. There are 24,600 nonprofits in the city of Detroit, a $44.6 billion economy. And that money doesn't necessarily stay in Detroit. And there are probably at least of those 24,000, there's got to be at least 10 that never get the funding. So there are a lot of nonprofits in these areas, right, that, if you will, are doing it out of their goodness of their heart, right? They don't necessarily get it. I know for us, we took the twos and the fews and we made a stew, right? You give us a little bit, we give a lot. We do a lot. That's what we were doing until last year, 25. And in 25, because I recognized that there was no investment for the work that we were doing, that we had to take some different angles and some different pivots because we were turning our boys into leaders. And so I thank you for saying that, because you're the first person that brought up that very thing when you brought up the adolescents and you brought up the information about how many nonprofits in the city, and to be true, probably today somebody else decided that they wanted to start a nonprofit instead of learning from others. So I digress, but thank you for that.
So a couple of things. Thank you, Calvin. You and I don't drink, but you and I could sit for a long time and have a lot of great conversations. I think we're on the same page. So what we did, we had a program called the Warriors Way, and the Warriors Way was a program similar to another program we had called Children of Incarcerated Parents. And what we did with the Warriors Way program, particularly the Warriors Way program, it was an all male program with middle school boys. And we matched them for 2 or 3 years with a male that wasn't designed to take the place of the father, because in during the program, boys who had been separated from their father for years, we were commitment that boys know who their fathers were, because the fathers didn't leave the boy, left the mother, and that they were the consequence of that. But the separation of any sort, when we worked with kids who went to jail, and I know, when one person goes to jail, the entire family goes to jail.
Yes.
That's what you talk about. That's where your
Yes.
resources are go. And that poor mother, mostly, you could just see the lights go out of her eyes. You know,
Yes.
even if she wasn't educated, you could see her soul just went under. And
Yes.
and they say she's lazy, that she's depressed. She's in trauma.
Yes.
Now I remember when my mom died, there were 6 of us. So I believe that my life didn't happen to me. I believe my life happened for me. That I had to go through many situations so I could understand what people were going through. So
Hmm.
when my mom died, there were 6 children, but we all went our own ways how to grieve. We didn't have a family meeting. We didn't hug each other. I went for food. My brother went for drugs. My sister went for clothes. We just like, whoo, like I don't want to say this, but like cockroaches when you turn on the light, everybody just
Yes.
scattered. So,
Yes.
and what I could see is I learned that I could see that situation. That was my education to see what happens when families have some kind of loss, some kind of trauma. And if they can't come together, mom's going to go to church with her Bible, somebody's going to go to a Jehovah Witness, somebody's going to become wherever they go to. But if they don't come together collectively,
Hmm.
there's there's no family. There's nothing that's familiar. There's no growth. And guess what? That that continues to the next generation, because I had to unlearn, I have children, I have grandchildren as well.
Hmm.
I had to unlearn being on my own
Yes.
and dealing with life on my own, so that I had to unlearn that. I've been married for 42 years,
Come on.
but I had to learn, I had to look at my life and keep going, okay, what is life teaching me? What is life teaching me? And and I think, you know, one of the things that the statistics do say, about how much money, over $1 billion of services is put into Detroit and into Harlem. However, it doesn't make a difference in families becoming financially viable.
Right. Not at all. In fact, right? In fact, what the system has done was created more people that needs to unlearn the individual. What the system has systematically done was set it up for poverty, that no matter what, because of, I know the statistics. Here's one for you. It takes 12 mentors to equal one father. 12. It's for the father. When we talk about disorder, you're right. It is scattered roaches, because what happens is there's no male guidance. And so when there's no male guidance, the standard for that environment is in trouble. And so what does that benefit? It benefits the very prison systems. It benefits the juvenile systems, which the juvenile system was never created to harbor. It became a junior prison because I can distort you in this integration process. I can distort what happens to your legacy, to your children, to your community, to your family. So if he doesn't know who he is, in your household, your daughters, they had a different stability because the husband was there. But if the child doesn't know, if the boy doesn't have identity, an identity marker, or if you will, the presence of a masculine person for the objectivity for me to become, right? Here is my example. And if that example is not present, I then begin the rewiring process. And now I'm emotional over little things. I become reactive.
But it's the same as if the mother could be in the house, but she doesn't necessarily have to be emotionally present.
Right. That's
The
right.
mother could be in the house, and if she's in survival and she's in overwhelm,
Yes.
she's not present. If the
Exactly.
mother's in the house and brings in Uncle Harry and then Uncle Paul and not and the little girl goes, I don't want to hug him. The
Right.
mother is let me tell you this. I had two girls from Puerto Rico. They were burnt. 13 and 15 years old. I mean, burnt, fire burnt, fingers burnt, faces burnt. And I was working with them in my woman to woman's program. That was a program for my teen moms. And
Right.
both of them had children. And the little girl was talking about, one of our major success is when people get you are sick is your secrets, and that your secrets are making you sick. It make you angry, give you a headache, give you all kinds of things. So we created this environment where kids, young people, or adults, adults as well, they get to tell that secret, that thing that's causing them shame and guilt. So the 13-year-old was standing up talking about the mother's boyfriend was the father of her baby.
Yes.
And I was watching the older sister wondering why she was like numb. Like she wasn't crying. Because when I asked her a question, I said, well, who's the father of your child? The same man. So these two sisters had people who were sisters and cousins at the same time. And when we reported it, they separated the man, took him to jail. But upon the court date, the mother took the girls out of shelter for a night and tried to persuade them to say they were lying. Honey, but by this time we have DNA tests. So, but I'm saying, and even if you have professional women who are now taking on the male role, the masculine role of working and losing, there's Hathor, there's losing that nurturing mom, the one that's there for you.
Yes.
When the man is in there, it affects who the woman becomes as well.
Yes. Yes. Her essence is essentially robbed when she has to take on that. I watch my mom, who I don't know how far we can go, but I watched my mom with 7 when my mother and father split. The great thing that we had was we had healthy uncles, and I had healthy male neighbors, and we weren't being preyed upon. Today,
That's because we went outside. They don't go outside today.
they don't go outside. Yeah, we went outside for sure. Bikes, trikes, and all kind of stuff. You're right. And the kids, you know, going outside is a completely different adventure. Especially if you know your neighbors, that's completely different. But what you just said when you brought up Puerto Rico, wow, like this is full circle. Good job, Heather, because I had no idea you was going to do this to me today. So Claudette, that with what you just said with the kids in Puerto Rico and these things, when I was speaking and sharing from the perspective, is because I talk on fatherhood globally, and so I was sharing it from the perspective of order, right? And then when you came back and you was like the mother, that is exactly what happened to my mom with diabetes. While today, I don't even mess with sugar like that because that's all she had. A half a gallon of ice cream, and it would be stacked in the refrigerator, in the freezer, and it was a pack of Cool Miles, Benson and Hedges, and Pepsi. And in the 10th grade, I got my mother to get off cigarettes. I kept showing her in my biology book, this is your lungs, this is what your lungs look like, this is what you, right? And I kept showing her, and by the end of that semester, my mother had quit smoking. We go ahead, Heather, because I'm trying not to be emotional here, but go ahead.
So, Dr. Dash, you
Well, you know what, Calvin, that's what I do for people. I allow people something about the way I am and what I'm told to speak about, you know, because I got 40 years. I can talk about a lot of things. But what's magical about who I am, I begin to speak what's wanted and needed in the room
Yes,
so that something can be released.
yes,
Okay, Heather, what are you going to say to me?
yes,
I know I was going to ask you about, and well, two things really, and then I'm gonna make some space for Dave to share before we have to end our call. But the
Yes.
first thing that I want you to speak on, and you did speak on this, but I really want you to help those who have not been out of their own communities, who have not been out of their neighborhoods, their states, their city, or their country, to understand that this is not isolated to just you, not your family. It really is a global movement and a need globally for responsibility and for us to do this work. So can you talk a little bit about that?
So we know that uh, we actually take kids on exposure trips right out of their neighborhood. Just go to the next town so that you can begin. I remember we took a couple of times we took a group of kids to Nigeria, and at that point, the naira, let's say $1 gave you 20 naira. And so I had this young man who was with us who used to sell fake cocaine on the train. Fake cocaine, and he was brilliant because he knew what train not to go back on at what time of the day. He had it figured out. He had the entrepreneur mind, but he still thought he was poor. He had a $20 bill, one $20 bill, and got this amount of money in Nigeria. What he started doing immediately, he started giving the money away. In that moment, he thought he was rich, and he just started giving kids money. And in that moment, the sense of himself would never be the same. He for 1 second experienced being rich. And yes, it is a global situation because that's what happens in the world. You got to remember, be in the world, but not of the world. And in the world, everybody is given the sleeping powder, POWDER, that puts you to sleep. Have you be the D is for depression, doubt, devastated. And when you stop taking that sleeping powder and you pull that D out of it, what you're left with is
Power.
the power. Power. Without the D, the power to see and be who that you are, the image and likeness of something mighty.
Dave, I'm gonna pause so you'll have a chance because I know you over there brewing.
Oh, no, the conversation with Claudette was some amazing work, and as I was sitting here listening, was speaking.
I can't hardly hear you, Dave.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good. I was saying you're doing some
Yes.
amazing work out there, and as everyone was talking, I could see how the conversation was unifying, and everybody was on the same page. One of the things you said that was significant, and I always think about isolation kill community builds. We start our community in the household, but if the household is already broken, then the community is going to be broken. So it's so significant for us to be able to begin to do what you're doing. Go into the ends of the world and share the good news, share the gospel. That's what you're doing. In my own world travels, I've realized that the people change, the environment change, but the problems of life are the same for everybody. And so we see broken homes in the United States, we see broken homes in Africa, we see broken homes in Korea, we see broken homes in China. Wherever you go, there are broken homes. It's so important for us to be able to bring together the people who are broken. And sometimes that takes just taking a pause for the cause to communicate effectively with one another, starting with the head, as Calvin brought up, with the father, and then passing it down to the mother, and then pass it down to the children. Instead of it being the cat-kicking contest, it's the building of the family. It's building up the self-esteem, the self-worth, the self-value. Too often we're being teachers. Calvin talked about individualism. This world has told us it's me, myself, and I am self-made. Well, that's not in reality to anybody. Nobody's self-made. Nobody's self-sufficient. It's a collaboration, going back to Calvin's book. All ingredients count. Everybody makes a difference in everybody's life. So I think when we're doing this type of work to go and try to be a difference and make a difference in people's lives, is one person at a time. And if we start with that one person to help them build self-worth, self-value, and learn to be more self-preserving instead of self-indulging, self-engaging, self-gratifying, we can change a lot of the things. So I like your work. I want to get it in because our time is running.
Thank you, Dave. And Claudette, as you think about your closing thoughts and the advice that you want to share with families that are listening in and that will listen for days to come, what does that advice look like?
So, in reference to what Dave said, I'm going to say it the way my father would say it with his British West Indian accent. The fish sting from the head. The fish sting from the head. Don't try to cut the tail. You go to the head because that's where it stink. When things the fish are going bad, it starts at the head.
Yes.
So the thing that I would say is, if you're listening, whether you're single or in a family, everybody's related to somebody. We are all part of a family, even when we live alone. Um, I would say reach okay, hold on. I would say do whatever you need to do to find out who you really are. There are lots of people, like everyone on this podcast. You have a conversation with any one of us, something in you will be unleashed. And that's why my organization is called Unlocking Futures.
That makes sense.
Blessings. Thank you.
That makes a lot of sense. I ain't gonna let you go that quick, though. I ain't gonna let you get out of here that quick. So we still got a little time. And because we got a little bit of time, right? What is the one thing, and this is just for you and your family, what is the one thing that you all do as a family that keeps your family grounded?
So with my I have two families now, my own children and my siblings' family. We still do the Christmas, the holidays. Every quarter, there's a family activity. When we were growing up with my children, every Friday we had a family meeting. No, everybody had a voice. Every the parents weren't the children, particularly my children that I got from my husband. They were master teachers. So now, what my husband does with my siblings and his siblings' children, once a month they all get together at my daughter's house for brunch. For the cousins that are not, he does a male cousins thing. All the male cousins, they get on Zoom once a quarter to stay in communication, is what Calvin said. Isolation. So we do lots of things, and we do lots of things to make sure we are together. Yeah, yeah.
And then we did a lot of that during COVID, which is crazy. Right after COVID happened, we were doing stuff. Me and my son, it's funny. We were doing Got Pop, and we'd jump on. And well, this is good. This is good, Claudette. I got one more question for you. And I know, again, I'm taking up Heather's show. This was Heather's show, so I'm hogging it because, you know, when you said 40 years, that was something Dave and myself, we've been involved with mentoring for 40 years. And there's been a lot done, right? There's been a lot done, right? And so, and there's some really big accomplishments that have happened. Yes. So from your perspective, what could people do today, right now, viewers and all? And you can make it two things. What are the two things of advice that you would give to people starting family today?
Starts as soon as you know you're going to have a family. We have a process called conditions of living together, conditions of winning, how what we're going to be. I think it's important. Um, my my family, the question wasn't, are you going to college? The question is, what college are you going to? That was the question. My husband, although he has his masters, but his generally on his family. And a couple of my nephews. The one you would know is Donald Faison from Scrubs and Clueless. So my husband came from a theatrical family. And that caused, in some moment, that caused a problem because
Right.
I wanted and he's from an entrepreneurial. I was like, you got to go to college. And he's like, no, we're going to be building businesses. So from the beginning, when you have children, you have to have an alignment. Like, who is this family? What are we going, how are we going to advance this generation? Another very important thing that I think people need to have families financial literacy programs where everybody's in that conversation so that the children could stop asking for 200 $200 sneakers every quarter because they begin to learn about investments and value. But all of this happens because somebody in the family, somebody has to say, we are family. Somebody has to recognize the power of family.
Well, it's absolutely hilarious. It is. It's absolutely hilarious that you said that because it's indicative of your nephew. Because your nephew's and his best friend, they do commercials. She just asked me about that last night when she saw on the show, and I said the brother and the white guy, they best friends. They do commercials with each other.
I just watched them with Scrubs. The guys from Scrubs.
Yeah.
They tight.
Yeah, they tight, and they've been friends for years. And so it would be indicative of the teaching of what you've taught about family and the importance of friendship and care. Because in family, I learned the new word in my class called fictive kin. So fictive kin are those relationships that you build with others that's not in your bloodline. So that is an actual term, fictive kin. So this is good. This has been really good. Tell everybody where they can. No. Before you go, last one, because I gotta say it. Give Claudette. If you could give one piece of advice for the world today.
I would like a copy of the book.
Okay. Do you mean my book, All Ingredients Count? Okay, not a problem.
Yes.
Are you in Michigan or New York?
I'm in New Jersey right now. But
You're in New Jersey.
I come to Detroit a lot. I have things.
Okay. So, it's two
I'll
ways.
be there next month.
Okay. Yeah, it's two ways you can get it, right? You can get it, you can go to Amazon and get it right away. Or when you come in town, I mean, you got to come over to the studio, see me and Heather, and you can get it there. It's up to you.
And you'll autograph it, right?
I'm going to autograph you as soon as I see you, sister. But give the people advice. Give them the number one thing that you would give to a person. The whole world is watching, and they say, what's the one thing that you could say that is going to make a difference in all these people's lives? What is that one thing you would give them, that one piece of advice?
You know, most people talk about, I got to love me. I have to love me. I'm going to say extend that. Love you as you love. And another. And another.
Yes. That's good. Well, tell them where they can reach you at, Claudette. If anybody want to get in touch with you. I know I'm getting in touch with you. I don't know about nobody else. I know Heather already in touch with you. She froze. Dave, tell them where they can reach you at.
You can reach me at drome7@yahoo.com or FMAM4 Men About Men on Facebook.
God said that was enough.
Well, I can let everybody know that you can visit their website at Unlocking Futures. Unlocking is NYUnlockingFutures.org. NYUnlockingFutures.org. And thank you, Claudette, and for your team for making this possible. And Claudette will be joining us on Lessons for the Journey this Friday at noon, where we have some deeper conversation about her work with women. She has another vision and mission for women. And so I'm excited to have her on Lessons for the Journey with us this Friday at noon. So I am Dr. Heather Hetheru. You can reach me at yourinspiredjourney.com. You can reach me by phone at 313-759-7855.
You can reach me at calvintman.com. What a day. I didn't know it was going to go this way. Heather kept it in the dark. right? You know, she was just like, yeah, she was so and so. She didn't put the whole family piece. She left all that out. All right. Anyway, hey man, put your family first. I'm Dr. Calvin T.
Dave
Man.
didn't say how to get in touch with him, did I?
Dave, yeah, Dave already
Oh, you
spoke.
did?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
He was in a whole nother world.
But thank you, though.
Hey, put your family first. Peace. We'll see you guys next Monday.
All righty.